That was pretty poor. Hey, everybody. Hey. There you go. Much better. A little juice around here. Jerry, geez, will pick them up. It's okay.
Middle, Ari. Coach, when the majority of this class committed to you guys, I mean, you guys have had this assembled for quite some time. You guys were off an undefeated season, had won the first 9-10 games this year, and it kind of seemed like everything was rolling. But how do you think the responsibility has changed now for this group to prop you guys back up after a few tough losses at the end of the year to get Ohio State back on track?
Responsibility with which group? I'm not sure I understand.
The current group you're bringing in now to kind of prop you guys back
up. I think their job is very simple. Their job is to prepare to play for Ohio State in a very, very short period of time. And that's their only job. You know, we've been around visiting, doing home visits with these guys, making sure that they understand their expectation of themselves, because it is what our expectation is that they come in prepared to play this fall. And so how do they get that done? You know, when I'm talking with Damon Webb, I'm talking with him about, well, make sure you understand, you know what Duran Grant and Garyon Conley and those guys are doing at Ohio State right now, so that you can emulate as much of that as you can on your own. So when you arrive in June, you're in the best possible shape to prepare yourself to play in the fall. I simply believe that's their job. You know, it's our job to assemble them into what we hope is another fantastic season. But their job is to get themselves individually ready. Now, the ones that are here, be a part of the team. You know, Raekwon and those guys, be a part of the team. That they're already doing that. But the guys that are still in high school, they've got to work right now to prepare themselves to be ready in the fall.
Bill, front row.
Your role is changing somewhat. Can you describe how that came to be, what you think about it?
I don't know that my role is changing, Bill, as much as the style in which we're going to coach the back end is certainly going to be different. And I would tell you that I embrace it completely. What has to happen in any collective group or part of defense is that everybody's got to be understanding what everybody's doing at all times. I don't think we function very well in isolation. And so one of the things that Coach Meyer and I talked about almost immediately after the season was installation of pass coverage, concepts, and communication having one voice. And that would be very important to everybody in the back end. What I would tell you is that Chris and I are going to function as a team in the back end. We will have one voice. We may both be saying it, but we'll be saying the same thing. So that when we meet together, when we coach together, when we're practicing together, we're all using the same terms, the same phrases, the same words, coaching things, and I don't know the same style. I haven't been able to watch Chris coach, so I don't know his style yet, but using all of the same language and verbiage out there, and I think that's very important.
Do you get a sense of how he'll fit in the room and along with Larry?
Absolutely. We're spending a lot of time together right now since we've just gotten back off the road. So these past 3 days, and actually Chris and I met on the last 2 weekends to begin to have a lot of conversation. He's going to fit in phenomenally well, and so is Larry. They are different men and different personalities than the guys that they're replacing, but they bring a different experience, which I think, you know, I was talking with my guys today about the fact that these transitions and these experiences are very positive for all of us. Nobody has the market cornered on the knowledge of the game of football. And so we're getting the opportunity to learn from 2 more guys who have been successful at other places in the manner in which they do their business. That's a real positive for the Ohio State Buckeyes. We've lost guys that left us things, and we're gaining guys that are bringing us more things. And so to me, that's a great thing for all of us.
Follow up on that a little bit what you just said there, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. So, is there a communication gap in the back end of the defense between the coaches last year?
No, not at all. Everett and I work well together. What I'm saying is our style of teaching in separate rooms at times and things like that can lend itself to separate communication points. And I believe very strongly that those things, the more you can do things in a group setting, the better off you're going to be. And so our approach, Chris and I will work together to make that happen. And there will be times when we will be working right half and left half, and times when we'll be working corners and safeties, and times when we'll be functioning with 4 guys doing things together, so that there's you know, we've talked with our players about this. I would think they would tell you the same thing, that all of that will lead I think, to greater communication, which should be our objective going forward.
How under the gun are assistant coaches right now here in terms of development? Like, obviously, it's a big part of what you guys do, but we're going to mention it several times today in terms of development players. Is that a point of emphasis right now that you guys, there's some players that out there that you guys have to put on this roster?
Well, I don't think there's any question at this time of year that's exactly what we're doing, right? We just got done with recruiting. We come back off the road from recruiting, and there's this month of February that Coach Marotti's calling Buckeye Maker Month, and so there's a lot of different things that are going on there leading into spring ball, and that's really what coaching is all about. You go get those great players from all around the country, and now that they're here, you develop them, and every player on our roster, whether it's our Heisman candidate quarterback or the freshman left guard, can get better at what they do. All of us can, and so we're all going to function at a very high level on player development over from now until the foot hits the ball for the first game.
Front row, Tim.
Kerry, can you explain what you think is going to be different fundamentally about this defense next season compared to this past season or the past 2 seasons?
Well, I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't know that that's necessarily my role. What I would say is that we are going to change our style of play. We're bringing in a couple of guys who have done things differently, and so that brings knowledge to our room defensively. Coach Meyer has great thoughts and inputs about what he wants to see, and so those are things that we're going to be implementing throughout spring. I think when you come to practice, you'll see those things. Again, I don't know that it's my place to speak about the specifics, but yeah, I think there'll be fundamental change across the board.
When we say change of style, obviously that means change of style means what, more aggressive? I mean, what does that mean? Yeah,
I would think that you would see a more aggressive style of play across the board, from alignment to attack and so forth. And again, I don't know that I want to speak out of turn, but I would say that absolutely that would be the desire on everybody's part.
Front row, Steve.
Yeah, Coach, I don't want to go back over chapter and verse what happened in the bowl game, but it looked like guys that hadn't played a whole lot were put into tough positions, and they had big receivers with a lot of experience that made plays. Just from a teaching standpoint, as you went back over that, with these guys you've got to win with this upcoming season, just what were the things that maybe they didn't do in some cases, not looking back at the ball, or what were they taught, what went wrong in those situations?
Well, what I would say is that all 5 secondary players were playing in new spots, which was a unique experience that sometimes happens based on alignment and injuries and all of the things that can take place in the course of the season. I think that there were tough plays made by a very good offense, and I think our kids will learn and grow from that. I also think that there were positives that came out of that game for our kids. And so our job is to correct mistakes, to develop players, and to move forward with a difference in our approach. And I think our kids are excited about that. In fact, I know they're excited about that. And I would expect that they're going to play with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder.
Final question, Doug.
Will your role with special teams change at all? Any more emphasis on special teams for you? Will that be what it was?
Well, I don't think that would, dramatically change. Obviously, we're going to look to improve in those areas. We saw great improvement across the board, but there's still a lot of work to be done in special teams. Coach Meyer is incredibly involved in special teams, as all of you know. It's a great emphasis for our entire team and our entire coaching staff. So I would expect that we're going to continue. We're working right now on the improvements that we're going to make in the 4 running teams for next year. Obviously, there's player development that has to take place there as well, with a new kicker coming in. And so there are things we're going to improve on, and we're examining all 4 running teams, how we will change and improve our schemes across the board. So, I don't know how much more or less there'll be. I think we're all in this whole thing together. I really do.
And when you look at going into spring ball, the corner spot opposite Duran is what's that competition like? Is Cam Burrows still a winner guy, or is he maybe a safety or a nickel now, or what's that?
Yeah, he'll be playing some nickel. He'll be playing some safety. There will be some changes. The competition, I would tell you, is wide open. You got to perform to play, and I think that the expectation on the part of every player on this football team is you got to show up every day and you got to perform in order to play in the fall. And so we're going to work really hard on finding those guys who can compete and who will challenge in tough situations. So whether they're incoming freshmen, whether they are obviously redshirt freshmen or the experienced kids, they're going to have to play and play well in order to play in the fall. And I believe that they will. They're committed to that. They're focused on that, and we're excited about that.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you.